Welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast, where we'll talk about spirituality, the paranormal, religion, and my journey in becoming a Mormon medium. I'm Nanette Ride. Thanks for listening. Now let's go have some fun.
Don't be afraid. Close your eyes. There's a moon overhead, but the sun will rise. Blood on our lips, such a poisonous bite. The sound of our hearts go bump, bump, bump in the night.
Hello and welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast. I'm Brad and I'm here with Nanette Ride, the Mormon Medium.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to you, Miss Nan. I hope you're having a great day so far.
So good. I get a hot day with you again.
Yet again, one more episode, folks. So today we've got some amazing things that we're going to talk about. Just like every week, right? We always have something amazing to talk about.
It's true. You know what? We're just going to bullshit our way through just like we always do.
Is that what we do? I thought that we spent hours and hours of painstaking preparation.
We do, and then we get sidetracked and throw in immature comments and stuff. So this will be fun.
I'm
excited.
I feel personally attacked right now.
I did not say any names. I said we.
There's only two of us here. I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's why people love to listen to us, because we're crazy. Right?
Is that why? Is that why, really?
I think so. And my really loud laugh, I'm sure.
No loud laughter.
I have to turn down the volume and then turn it back up.
She's not kidding. There's some post-production that goes in there.
Brad is a wonderful editor. I just want to put that out there. So I wanted to give a big shout out to all of our listeners. We know that you're spending your personal time to listen to our podcast, and we're super grateful. Thank you for all of the reviews and the awesome comments. Please keep them coming. It'll help us move up and grow and be able to talk about more things and get some cool guests on our show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. We do appreciate you. So, Nan, what are we talking about today?
Well, we've got some listener questions that we're going to hit first. And then we have some other fun stuff. So do you want to start there?
Let's do it.
Okay. I've got someone that reached out and they asked, do you know if how you are buried has any connection with your abilities to be around and in touch with loved ones? My wife convinced me years ago to be cremated. Will that have any effect afterwards? So I think what he's saying is he's worried about his afterlife, if it's going to ruin him being able to get in touch with his loved ones on the other side.
Yeah, well, or can your loved ones still reach out to you if
you're cremated? I can tell you what Spirit has taught me and what I've seen and experienced by the readings that I've given, and also by some of the mentors that I've talked to about this kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter what happens to the body after our beautiful spirits leave. Everything's energy. Our energy is our spirit. And when it leaves the body, our body goes back to Mother Earth. And it doesn't matter if it's in a coffin, if it's, cremated or whatever, the spirit still does the same thing. I've had many spirits that have come through that have died of gunshot wounds or horrible accidents or just tragic ways, and also been cremated. And they always come through just as whole as ever. So it's not an issue.
Well, if you think about it, a lot of cultures throughout history have had different types of burials.
Yeah, like the Native Americans or Vikings or like so many cultures.
Or the Tibetans. Who they'll take the dead bodies and they'll put them on the side of the mountain and let the vultures pick everything off, and then they'll break up the bones and put them in a little shrine.
Talk about a cycle of life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I personally don't want to be buried. I'd rather be cremated and have my kids put my ashes in the ocean. I think that'd be so cool.
Yeah. Why the ocean?
Because it's my happy place. It's my safe place. It's my quiet place. So, yeah.
So how do you think that's going to go over when you've talked to your kids? What do they say? Oh, how do they react to, wait, mom wants to be cremated?
Only 3 of my 5 kids know exactly what I want. They also know that if they give me a Mormon funeral and they put me in a coffin, I will fuck up the place. Like, I will poltergeist the place. My kids know.
Now, wait a minute. So again, you're going to have to back up a little bit, because not everyone who's listening understands what a Mormon funeral consists of. So you're going to have to go over that a little bit and give some explanation, I believe.
I think you can help me with that too.
Yeah, I'll chime in.
I am not someone that believes that you find the spirit of someone in a graveyard. So I'm not really super into graveyards. I go to graveyards as a psychic medium and I don't see spirits. It's just quiet. So if I want to not be bothered, I'll go there. But I get lots of activity just all around.
But wait a minute. That goes against everything we've seen in every movie that Hollywood's produced for the last 100 years.
Yeah. Have you met any of the people in Hollywood? Are they really honest? No. They teach us to be afraid. They teach us to be afraid of everything.
Don't be afraid.
Not afraid of that. And it's quiet. It's quiet there. And it's a good place to be able to remember someone. Corey was really good to go and see his grandparents' grave, and he wanted to feel them, but he could feel them because it was quiet. So he likes to do that. I was really close to my grandparents and I was really close to my dad, and I don't go see their graves. I don't go see Corey's very often. I did in the beginning, but it was to make sure things were taken care of, not to feel him. Does that make sense?
Well, it does, but I think that a lot of people, it's kind of like meditating, right? Some people can meditate. They just close their eyes and boom, they go to that spot. Other people need something to help them focus, whether it's a candle, whether it's soft music. And so I think a lot of people, by being in that place in the cemetery, they're able to look at a headstone, they're able to see that name, and they're able to focus more on it. So I think they're a little more open to feel that.
Right. But it's not unlike, finding that quiet space anywhere, like in nature, me at the beach or the celestial room for a lot of people that are still very believing Mormons. That's what they believe. They'll go to the celestial room and it's a quiet place. It's a place where they can be contemplative and feel the spirit and be able to, be quiet, because you're instructed to leave all of your outside worldly things outside of the temple, right? That's what you could do in your daily life, in your meditation. But a Mormon funeral is really, most funerals are for the living. They're not really for the dead. I'll tell you, the Mormon funerals, they'll usually have an open casket and a viewing like the day before the actual funeral and then the morning of, so everybody can go by and look at the body.
Have you ever thought that's super morbid?
It's really morbid to me. I've never really liked that.
You know what? I always get a kick out of this is, oh, they look so good. They look so alive and so fresh. Bullshit. They look dead. They look waxy.
Yeah,
They look
do.
over made up. They look
Lots
like
of
they've
makeup.
got 5 pounds of Aquanet in their hair. No, they don't look good. They don't look good. Why do people say that?
I think it's just a coping mechanism, right? And it's what our culture tells us, especially the Mormon culture does that.
Well, I think it's just empty words, right? Oh, I heard somebody say this. I'm supposed to say it. Oh, they look so good, Nan.
It's just like saying, I'm sorry for your loss. They're empty words and you don't know what to say. So you have to say something. And rather than connecting with your heart and saying, hey, I really don't know what to say right now, but I'm really sending you lots of love and I'm here if you need me, type of thing, connecting with your heart and being vulnerable. A lot of people don't like death or anything to do with it. But the Mormon funerals, I always found it really weird that you have speakers that don't even know the person get up and talk.
That is super awkward.
And tell you how they're in a better place and how they're this and they're that. And it's their belief systems. But it never sat right with me, even through all the funerals I've been to. And I don't go to funerals anymore. I'll go to a graveside and I'll remember things, but it just doesn't gel with me anymore because there's spirits still around. You should be having, like the wakes or, celebrating, have a full bar and celebrate them, have a video up of their life and talk about them and celebrate their graduation from this earth life. I probably should have done that with Corey, but Yeah, I was in such a Mormon box, I didn't know better.
Well, you were, and you were in such a state of grief that you weren't really capable of doing a whole lot. In fact, I kind of wanted to touch on something you mentioned just a minute ago. You said, yeah, it's kind of like when people say, I'm sorry for your loss. So from someone who has been through that tremendous grieving and that tremendous loss, what is a better way to approach that?
Oh, you're the classic example of the better way to approach it. I will never forget the way you approached me like 8 months after Corey was killed. And you messaged me on Facebook Messenger and you said, hey, I just want to give you my condolences. And I want to just share a couple of memories that I have of Corey with you. And you listed a whole bunch of memories. And by the time I was done, I was sobbing and I'm holding my phone like we shared a moment, like Corey touched your life like he touched my life, like not identical, but he touched you. And we both were touched by this beautiful soul and we're sharing this beautiful soul. That is amazing. That is healing. And to be empty and say, I'm sorry for your loss. Everybody experiences death. Everyone. So what could we say that's better? My best friend, she'll be like, so, hey, Nan, how's Corey? Have you seen him lately? Literally, she'll say that. And that's how it should be. We should be in tune with our loved ones on the other side so that our friends are like, hey, have you seen your grandma lately? How's she doing? I know you're really close to her. Have you been able to feel her lately? Because it keeps them alive. It keeps you comforted and it keeps you connected. It's beautiful.
Well, and that's a good point because they are around us all the time. And especially when we need them, when we need protection, when we need that love, when we need that little bit of a boost, we can always call on that help. I'm going to stop again and back up. So I was in a situation where I had actually worked with Corey and I did have some memories. But what about those people who really don't have that, but they are sorry for your loss? They're sorry that this horrible thing happened. How can they say that in a way that comes across more sincere and not just, hey, I've heard people say this. This is probably what I'm supposed to say.
Well, maybe not just stop with, I'm sorry for your loss. I mean, you could say it and back it up with, I really care about what you're going through and I would love to sit with you if you need someone to sit with you or if you need someone to listen or if you'd like to show me some pictures of Corey, I would love to see that. Just kind of jump in the hole that they're in instead of standing around the top and looking down at someone that's going through grief. Jump in and sit with them for a minute. That is a nugget of gold to do something like that with someone that is grieving.
Got it. I love that.
I think it's really important that not only with death, though, we should jump in each other's feelings
Bedroom?
and how they're, no, not bedroom. I was going to say whole, and then you would have just taken it to a whole new level at 14.
Yeah, you couldn't have said that at all.
No, I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, we're just going to jump in each other's darkness and help each other out and shed some light. So I think that's what we should always do, no matter if we know the person very well or not. A heart connection and just letting someone know that you care, like genuinely care. Like, what can I do to help you? I know I can't bring him back, but can I get you a Diet Coke or can I come sit with you? Or do you want to share some stories with me or something?
Right. Well, that makes sense. I like that. Thank you. So basically, to go back to the original question, does the way someone is buried or interned make a difference on how they can interact in the hereafter?
Absolutely not.
The answer is no.
Everything comes through crystal clear, just as if you are a whole being.
Well, and that's,
you are.
That's basically because the body's just housing the soul, the spirit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. I've had so many clients that have like these issues with their body and they hate their body or they hate what they're going through and they hate their feelings. And once we start balancing them, they find out that their body has been holding them in a safe place, has been keeping them alive, and they may have a couple of extra pounds, or they, maybe they have some eating disorders, or they have their hair falling out, or,
Why am I feeling attacked again? Like I'm raising my hand on every one of those.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, we better get you on my table, baby. But we should look at our bodies literally as the beautiful home for our beautiful souls. And it's made to keep us alive and keep us safe. and the things that are going on in our bodies, we should listen to. Like, we should watch what it does, what our body is telling us, and we should listen and take care of it the way it needs to be taken care of. I think it's so important to give gratitude and love to our bodies.
Well, gratitude really is a huge thing, right? I mean, having gratitude, and especially on a regular basis, can make a huge difference in a person's life.
It is so true. And in previous episodes, we talked about gratitude and love and abundance being of the same frequency.
Yeah, the same vibrational frequency.
Exactly. So if we're at the vibrational frequency of gratitude, we may not feel a whole lot of love in our life right now. But if it's gratitude and we're grateful for the things that we do have, our vibration will be the same as love, and love will be attracted to us because the universe gives us what frequency we're at. So if we're vibing low, guess what's going to come to us, right?
Yeah, that negative comes right to you. Like attracts like when it comes to vibrational energies.
Yeah, the universe is super simple. If we just, open our eyes and really pay attention to what's going on around us, we can tell what's going to happen next pretty much.
Well, and the funny thing is we always think of a positive and a negative attract, right? But it's not really the same.
Except for us.
What do you mean by that?
Because I'm O positive and you're O negative.
Got it. Now you're talking blood types.
Blood types.
I got you.
He's an alien.
Yeah. No, I just like to give. I'm very generous.
He's a giver.
I'm a giver. Now I don't even know what I was saying. Yeah, positive and a negative is typically what attracts, right? But when it comes to vibrational frequencies and your positivity versus your negativity, you might have brushes with people who are super positive, but they're not going to stay in your circle if you're an Eeyore. If you get up in the morning and it's like, good morning, I guess I'll get some coffee.
Right?
Versus, the person who's like, good morning, let's go grab some coffee. There's a very big difference between the two. And I think if you want to attract people who are positive, you have to be positive.
Oh, it's so true. But then vice versa. If you're an Eeyore and you don't necessarily want to be happier, you like where you're at. Some people like their pain, right?
That's true.
Having a super positive person come bopping in the room. Hey, how are you this morning? They're going to be like,
oh, it's difficult.
You.
Yeah, it's difficult for them, right?
Yes.
It's that,
they don't even like you.
That sandpaper suit that I've heard of, right?
Yes.
So when we talk gratitude, there are a number of things that people will do to express gratitude. And I know you, for a long time, had a gratitude journal. Tell me about that.
Well, when I was going through some really dark times, I knew and I had learned that your vibrational frequency of gratitude is that of love and that of abundance. And heaven knows I needed both and all three. And I just didn't want to be depressed. And I was. And so each night I would write in my journal 10 things I'm grateful for during that day. And some of them were really simple. Like I took a breath. I woke up not crying, that kind of thing. Sometimes they were basics, but they were still things to be grateful for. And then when things got really dark and I needed to look at that journal and be reminded of the wonderful things I had in my life, I could flip through it and be like, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I am loved. I'm not alone.
I love that. Well, and, you said taking a breath. Breathing is a really interesting process, right? Think about it. When we breathe in, we inhale, we breathe in. We're taking.
You're a giver.
We're taking from the world.
It's true.
And the universe. And when we exhale, we're giving back.
Yes.
Breathing is a process of taking and giving, of creating that balance and that flow.
Well, and the breath of life is that of creation. So we can actually use our breath to create things, which is super cool.
Tell me about that. I'm not familiar with what you're talking about.
Well, super simple. You could have a bottle of bubbles and blow through the little ring, and you could use your breath to create bubbles and rainbows and lots of things. But as you get to know yourself spiritually, you could use the breath you have to center yourself and go into a more deep state of consciousness, because we live in our subconscious mind. That's our automatic brain. That's our brain that tells us, we get out of bed, we go get our coffee, we go to the bathroom, we go to work, all those things. But our conscious mind, when we're present, is our mind of creation. And we can literally create the things that we want to once we're in charge and we're 100% present in our life. You can learn to manifest things. You can learn to make true magic happen in your life, because we are, remember, a soul in a human body. So it's pretty cool. Our breath is
So when you talk
our
about the
spirit.
breath of life and creating with your breath, it's really more of a metaphor, right?
No.
Well, you're not breathing life into something literally. It's a metaphor. You're using your breath to center yourself. You're not using your breath to actually create something.
Yes, you are. I can't tell you how many times I've had to resuscitate people and use the breath to bring someone back to life. And they take a breath to come to life. Your breath is everything. And when you take your last breath is when your energy leaves this body and goes somewhere else. Your breath is everything. It's literally creation.
Is it creation, though, or is it the sharing of a life force? Especially when you talk
I'm
about...
not following you.
Especially when you talk about resuscitating someone. Did you create that life? No, you didn't create that life. You shared your own life force with them. I think that may be a more accurate portrayal of it, because
I don't know.
because I didn't create that life. That life was already there, right? I merely shared my breath with them to help them come back to life.
But then what makes a baby take its first breath?
Well, not somebody else breathing into it.
It's that baby's, though. It's the breath of life that makes the baby come to life and be able to create a life that it wants, a life that it deserves. And it can create, we as souls can create any kind of life that we want. I mean, we manifested our home. We've manifested many, many, many things. Like literally, we've manifested everything since we've been together. And I know everyone can do it. And additionally, if you look at the earth and like the volcanoes and like the way the sea moves, like there is a breath of life in everything. Everything ebbs and flows and has a flow to it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. A breath of life and the ebb and flow and the balance and the process makes sense. But saying that you create with your breath doesn't make sense to me. So I guess it's just me being stupid, but I don't understand that.
Well, like when we do a shamanic clearing and we're saging all negative energy from you, and then we put Florida water all over you. As a shaman, you're supposed to put it in your mouth and use your breath of life to create positivity around the person. It's a creation. So that's the belief system that's behind it. Does that make sense? But I don't spit on people, so I use a spray bottle.
She has this cute little squirt bottle. It's a non-aerosol squirt bottle, so she has to pump it.
It's true. It's much more effective and sanitary.
Well, and you're a lady, and you don't spit on people.
I don't spit on people. Although that's not spitting. Like
It's creating life.
it,
Come on, Nan.
It's the breath of life.
But,
Yeah.
okay, so do you lose something as far as the power and effectiveness when you spray it out of a bottle rather than spitting it out and using your breath to push it out?
Did you think way too deep for me?
Wait a minute, Miss Aries. Don't give me that bullshit.
It's all about intention. And so my intention is to put positive energy and the breath of life into the person so they can create what they want. So no, I'm not losing anything.
Okay.
It's my intention.
So it's still just as powerful as if I spit it out on someone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yep. 100% positive.
Okay. I trust you.
Why do you trust me?
Because you're the Mormon medium.
You want to know something wild?
What?
I've done so many readings lately and I've had live people come through.
What do you mean by that? How does a live person come through in a psychic medium reading?
Well, remember, psychic means you read live people. Medium means you read spirits.
Okay. I
To
remember
the
that.
sitter, right? So sometimes I can't tell because they'll come through at the same time as the spirits, and I think they're dead, but my sitter will be like, "Oh no, that's my mom. She's in the hospital and blah blah blah." And I'm like shocked because they're still alive, but they're like fading and coming back into view and fading and coming back into view, like they're having trouble coming in and talking to me, but they tell me tons of information.
So is that because of like anesthesia or what?
It could
because
mean,
they're like half and half maybe in the...
yeah. It could mean that they're super sick and they're not in their body. It can mean they're in a coma, having problems with anesthesia, they're dying, things that are happening like that. Usually I let the people know, if they're alive, you need to go to them and make things right. Do you have issues with that person? And all the time it's been, yeah, we're not on the best terms, or yeah, I was mad at her, or I was mad at him, or it's super interesting because I'm like always shocked because they're like, yeah, they're alive. I'm like, what? That's wild. Because I'll be like, yeah, I used to spend all summer there, used to run through the sprinklers in her front yard, and she used to bake you cookies and blah, blah, blah. No, it's strange. It's really strange. It's coming up a lot lately.
Interesting. Why do you think that is? Do you think that your abilities are maybe shifting a little bit, or do you think there's been a shift in the universe that is pushing that? Why do you think that's been more active?
Heaven knows, if you look around us, our universe is changing, our earth is changing, people are changing. I know that I'm shifting and growing all the time. I can tell you this, that every single reading I do, I learn something new. I keep saying I feel like a baby medium because I keep learning so many amazing, cool things every single time. And Spirit's just so fun. Like it's just surrounded in so much love, and they're just so clear and so kind. Even when I need to see things that aren't very pleasant to see, that they're kind and clear about it, so I'm not confused and I don't have to look more than once or,
Right. Well, and you've had some difficult readings that you've had to see.
Yeah, I have. How some people have died. It's been hard, and it kind of sticks with you. I kind of struggle because I care. This is going to sound insane, but I care about the spirits that I get to deal with. I actually care about them. I want to wrap them in bubble wrap, just like I want to wrap people in bubble wrap and protect them, because my heart just goes out to them and I have such empathy for them. And I know that they're okay. I know that, but it's just sometimes heart-wrenching to see some of the stories and lives that have been lived in the story, or the lessons that they've had to learn. And that's their journey. And I know I don't need to feel bad for them, but my heart just goes out to them and I care about them. It's new territory for me, I guess.
I don't think there's anything wrong or weird about caring for the spirits who have moved on or are around you. I think that is something that would be very normal. I mean, if the neighbor from across the street came over and talked to you, you would care about them in the same manner. So I don't know that is weird.
I think some people might think it's weird, but if you know my relationship with spirit and you know what I do, then it's not so weird. But I love what I do. It's so fascinating.
So those of you who think she's weird, just talk to her. Get to know her.
I am weird.
She's very pleasant to interact with.
Thank you.
And
Craig.
she loves it when people reach out and visit with her or say hello or say, oh my gosh, I heard the podcast. So yeah, don't be shy. Let her know.
Please do. It kind of keeps me driving forward.
Wait, how would they even do that?
They can email us or reach out on social media, on my Instagram, the Mormon Medium Podcast on Instagram, my Facebook page. So it's just under Nana Ride Zeman if you want to reach out on there, or you can go to info@themormonmediumpodcast.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are going to get inundated now.
You know what I would like? This is a casting call. I haven't even talked to Brad about this, so he doesn't know that I'm doing this. He might edit this. But I would love to hear your ghost stories.
Oh, absolutely. That would be super cool.
And they have to be true, but I want to hear your ghost stories. I want to know all the deets. So send them in and we will get them read out loud on the podcast.
Yeah, if you want your name associated with it, put that on there and tell us, yes, please, you can read my name, or no, don't read my name. And we will absolutely respect your privacy on that. But yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. Let's have people send in their ghost stories.
please. Thank you for joining us on the Mormon Medium Podcast. We love your support. And don't forget to buy us a coffee.
What does that look like, Nan? How do you buy me a coffee?
Fuck if I know.
I know. All right, so here's the story. She's not lying. You can support the show through the Buy Me a Coffee website. There's actually a link in the show notes. Just go ahead and tap on that and feel free to donate. And if you do, you'll get a tarot reading from Nanette Ride, the Mormon Medium.
They're super fun to do. And if you have any questions for your tarot reading, make sure you put that in your notes.
Yep. Make sure to like and subscribe to this podcast. And if you've loved it, give us a positive review. It really helps. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic day.